Hey.
What's up, y'all? I'm Tasiaa. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, you must be new here. So if you're new here, I'm gonna need you to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and then go check out my old videos because I have literally almost 300, if not over 300 videos. Let's check. 272 videos. So you better tap in with at least 3 of them, okay? With that being said, if you're new here, now you're not, you're familiar, you are now rocking with Tasiacharde. Okay. It's not saying anything about my wig. I know it's definitely giving lace. It's giving that. I'm about to take this wig off as soon as I'm done recording, y'all. Front to back. Snatched off. That's what I'm about to do. But anyways, I just had to tell y'all this story because I've been wanting to tell this story on my channel for a very long time. A very long time. I just did not think it was a good enough story to tell because A, I don't got no proof. So y'all probably don't even believe me. And that's cool. Me and God know the truth. So I don't care what y'all believe. But no, I really didn't want to tell this story without being able to find the piece of evidence that I needed. But I have literally been looking for it for months and months and months and months and months. And I just gave up because it's so much stuff out there on the internet. I don't think I'd ever find it, honestly. Not just little old me. I'd need some help. So let's just get into the story. You read the title, you seen the thumbnail, you was like, what? And you clicked it. So here I am to tell the story. Amen. Amen. I have to take y'all back. I have to take y'all way back. I have to take y'all way back before Tasiaa and the red hair and the glasses. I didn't even wear glasses back then, y'all. I have to take y'all back to when I lived in Jersey, before college, before North Carolina. We have to go back. So I want to say I was in elementary school, about to go into middle school, or I just got into middle school. That's another thing that made it so hard to find the piece of evidence that I needed for this story because I can't even remember the exact time frame when this happened. Okay, so I want to say maybe somewhere between 4th grade and 6th grade. That's the range. I was probably like 11, 12, 13. I was young, but like I wasn't that young, okay? And the way my family life was set up at the time is during the week when I went to school, me and my sisters would be at home with my mom. And then on the weekends, we would go to my grandmother's house and spend time with my grandmother and my dad and my little brother on my dad's side. It was a normal thing for the weekends for me to be at my grandmother's house, sitting on the couch, watching TV. And my grandmother did not have every channel, okay? She had about 5. One was Disney and the other one was like, I don't know. I know we didn't get Nickelodeon at my grandma's house. We got Disney and whatever the other thing was, and then adult channels or regular channels, I guess you could say. I'm saying all this to say, y'all, there wasn't very many options for me to watch on TV. So just keep that in your mind. At the time, my dad, now he's worked a few different jobs since I've been young, but I remember the very first job he had was with a moving company. They would go like from state to state, helping people move. And my dad used to be on the road a lot. He would leave home for like a week or maybe like a few days or maybe like 2 weeks or maybe he'd come home for 2 days. And he was always on the road a lot. I remember he had that job. He worked there for some years and then he got a new job. If I'm not mistaken, it was some type of like manly I can't even talk. Some type of man job where you work with your hands. I know this because my dad used to always like lift heavy stuff and just do a bunch of stuff like that. I can't remember the name or the company or what exactly he had done. And this is why I'm like, is this even a valid story to tell? But it is, y'all, because it gets better. I know that somewhere between me getting into middle school is when he left the moving job and started working at his other job. I don't know if it's the job that he works at to this day. Me and my dad don't even talk to this day because I know y'all probably like, oh my gosh, why don't you just ask him? Like, he probably remembers. He'll probably tell you. I don't talk to the man, y'all, so we going off of memory. I don't remember if it's the job that he's working at now, but I remember when I was younger, my dad told me that basically what he does at his job is like make machine parts for the little things that would make the roller coasters move. So he would make like little parts that would be later on added to a roller coaster to make it function, if that makes any type of sense. So that is the job that I want to say he was working at the time of the story. So back when Tasiaa was in like 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. I'm pretty sure, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the job he was working. I know a lot of the time when my dad went to work, he would layer up because we lived in Jersey. It was cold, but like a lot of the times, you know, his job wouldn't like change due to the weather. So even if it was snowing, he's still going. So I know a lot of times he wear like his pants or whatever, his sneakers, his boots, whatever, and then he wear like a t-shirt and a shirt and then a jacket. And I remember my dad had this green pullover jacket, not like a bright green. It was kind of like this, like a green hoodie. I can't remember if it was a work hoodie or if it was just a hoodie that he would wear for work, but he used to wear it all the time. I don't remember if it was like his work hoodie or not, but I think it was a work hoodie because if I'm not mistaken, it has some type of logo like right over the shoulder or whatever, or under the shoulder. But other than that, it was just a plain green pullover hoodie. And my dad used to wear this a lot. Like he would wear it to work, but if we was just running to the store or something and we was going outside and it was a little chilly, if that was the first thing he could grab, he would put it on. And sometimes me and my sister would wear it. Like we just like to wear his clothes. It wasn't even that cold. We would just be playing around his stuff because we was this big and he was this big, so the clothes fit on us like dresses, you know what I mean? Moving on. All of this is for context. So there is this one particular weekend that little 4th grade or 5th grade or 6th grade Tasiaa is at my grandmother's house. And usually when I'm at my grandmother's house for the weekend, it's me and my sister Yaya and maybe my little brother Marcus. But then sometimes my auntie will have her sons come over, my cousins. So it will be a lot of us. But for some reason, the only memory I have from this story was me being by myself. I don't remember if my grandmother was in the house. I don't remember if my sister was in the house. I don't remember who was there. I just remember I was sitting on the couch alone. And for some reason, like I told y'all in the beginning of the story, we didn't have that many channels. My grandma didn't watch Disney. So the only time it got turned to Disney Channel is when me and my sister came over. Other than that, my grandma had it on like Ion or the ID, or she would change the input and put her little VCR thing in and watch some movies that way. But for some particular reason this time, it was on the news, you guys. If I'm gonna remember how I used to be at my grandmother's house correctly, I probably went to the kitchen, made me some popcorn, poured me some Kool-Aid, and I probably came back to the couch, click, cut the TV on, sat down and was like, what is there to watch? For some reason, I was watching the news, you guys. I don't ever watch the news still to this day. So it's just like, could it be a coincidence that the first time ever I decided to watch the news, I seen something like this? Somebody told me that coincidences aren't real. Just saying. But for some reason, when I cut the TV on, the news was on. And I didn't decide to change it. I didn't decide to change to Disney or the other Cartoon Network. I just decided to watch the news. And I remember the weatherman was up there and he was like, yeah, the forecast in South Jersey is going to be chilly with a side of brick. And I'm like, okay. And then they started talking about, you know, the schools and this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay. And they telling you about some stuff that's going on like globally. I'm like, okay. Then the news reporter is like, this just in. And for some reason, I don't know why, it caught my attention. So I'm just watching the news. I'm watching the TV, and the news reporter is covering a story of a man, white male, who was brutally attacked and beaten, okay, at his job, in his own office, by a large male. So they started explaining the story. They didn't really have much details. It was just a white man who was brutally attacked on camera by some identified male. And I'm like, y'all know I always been a little nosy. So I was like, So I'm really tuned in now. Lo and behold, y'all, if I am lying, I am flying, and Jesus himself can strike me down right now. Okay, y'all, so I'm telling the truth. I look up at the TV, and I kid you not, It's an office setting. The camera that recorded this is probably a camera that's in the corner, probably like across from them diagonally. So they're in this corner, the camera's probably in this corner, and I'm watching it from the video from this point of view. It wasn't black and white, but it was fuzzy, basically black and white. I know it wasn't black and white because of the green hoodie. That's how I know it wasn't black and white, but it was fuzzy. It wasn't too good camera footage. But I'm watching, and it's this man brutally beating and attacking this white guy, nearly stomping him in the corner. Y'all, let me show y'all what I saw. And this, that is what I saw. I cannot make this up. Like, so I'm so sorry, Teddy, but I'm in my head like, is that my dad's green jacket? Is that my dad? That's my dad. Like, let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. But like, you know your parents, no? Like, you know your parents, you know your siblings. Like, me personally, I don't know if everybody else can feel me when I say this, but if it was my mom, I could spot my mom in a crowd of people, probably 150 people, from behind, just from the back of her head, and I could tell you that was my mom. I could look at my dad, and I could look at the back of his hand, and look at the little knuckles and the hairs on his hand, and each way the bones look, and tell you that's my dad. I could look at my sisters in a classroom full of kids, and all the kids is dressed alike, and it's nap time and the lights is off, and I could tell you which little kid is my sister. Like, I know them from a can of paint. I can find them anywhere. I kid you not, okay? So as I'm watching this video, and you know it's the news, so it's not too long of a video. I don't get to pause it or rewind it. This was before Roku, everything. So I'm just in my head like, that was my dad. That was my dad, but why would he do that? I'ma just ask him. I remember telling myself that in my head. I'ma just ask him. Like, ain't no reason for me to sit here and decipher why would he do that for when I could just ask him, because I know that was my dad. You know what I'm saying? That was my dad. So just to reiterate, I'm sitting on the couch. It's just me. I didn't even have Teddy with me. It was just me sitting on the couch, and this little news reporter covers this really small, really quick story of a white man who was brutally beaten in his office by an unidentified male. And they said he seemed to be about this tall. My dad is 6'4". He said he was about 6 foot something, this wide, and about this many pounds, and he seemed to be like a light-skinned black man, but it's unidentified and we're still unsure. If you have any questions or know anything about this situation, please inform us. Or you know how the news is. So I'm like, that was my dad. Like, that's all I kept saying in my head is, that's my dad. And like, me and my mom, let me tell you something about me and my mom, okay? When they be like, oh my gosh, I gotta tell you something, girl, but don't tell nobody. I already told my mom before you told me. Bet that. Know that. No, I told her. The first thing I wanted to do was call my mom, like, girl, guess what I just saw on the news. Like I said, I was younger. I don't think my little phone even had any service at the time. If I was in 4th and 5th grade, I had an Android and it had no service. I was just on the Wi-Fi on Kick. Now, if I was in 6th grade, no, it couldn't have even been that, because I didn't get my first iPhone until after 6th grade. After I finished, that's when I got my first iPhone. So it had to be some little Android, no Wi-Fi, just on Kick. No Wi-Fi, no service, just Wi-Fi, and I'd be texting on Kick. So me being me, like, I know that my mom works real hard, so I'm like, let me not just, you know, hassle her and try to get in contact with her now, because knowing my mom, she's probably gonna think it's an issue. She's probably gonna think she needs to come pick us up. I'm gonna talk to her later. In the meantime, I need to ask my dad. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't the same day that I watched the news. It was probably the day after. We was all sitting there. I want to say my dad, my grandmother, my dad's girlfriend at the time, my little brother, and maybe a few other family members. Nobody important. I just remember my grandmother had a real big backyard, and a lot of the times the family will always chill in the backyard. So I want to say this was a backyard function. And I finally got a moment with my dad to himself. And I said, Dad, I think I seen you on the news today. You was beating somebody up. I think I seen you on the news. If it wasn't you, he looked just like you, but he was wearing your green jacket. I saw you, Dad. And my dad looked over at me and was like, nah, that was me. And he went back to doing whatever he was doing on his phone. And so little 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, maybe 6th grade Tasiaa was just like, am I tripping? I can't be tripping. I know what I said, the green jacket, I seen the green jacket. That was my dad. I knew that was my dad. And then little 4th grade, 5th grade, maybe 6th grade Tasiaa was like, is he lying? He just lied. Why would he lie? So I'm just like, okay, very interesting. You said that's not you, but he was wearing your green jacket. Did he take your green jacket and put it on and then just go beat this man up? What are the odds of that? You know what I mean? Like, when I tell y'all I remember this jacket, I could call my sister right now and ask her if she remembered it. Let's call her. The jacket was so specific, and that is exactly why my dad will never be able to get away with this, because that jacket gave you away, sir. I know that jacket from anywhere. Let me call my sister. Y'all not gonna believe me because I don't have the news clip, but my sister can vouch for me for this jacket. She can vouch for me. Hey, what you doing? Okay, I have a really quick question. A really quick question.
Okay.
Do you remember the jacket that daddy used to wear, the green jacket? It was a hoodie. No, like, do you remember it? Do you just remember daddy wearing it when little Marcus was a baby?
I do remember one because he used to wear it with a hat.
He used to wear it with a hat. Thank you, girl. That's all I needed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother. My sister is probably like, what is wrong with her? I don't know if my sister has ever heard me tell this story, honestly. Because it's just like, what was she going to do with that information? She was younger than me. So if he lied to me, I know he going to lie to her. You know what I'm saying? But like my sister just said, he wore that jacket, y'all. And sometimes he wore it with the hat. But you know what? Let's just move on past that. So I'm like, wow, he lied. Like, I know for sure that was my dad. He lied. So I told my nana. That's what I call my grandmother. I know a lot of people say nana. I don't. I say nana. I told my nana. I'm like, nana, I think I saw my dad on the news. And she like, saw him on the news? And I'm like, yeah, I think I saw my dad on the news beating somebody up. But I don't know. And at the time, I don't think my grandmother like actually paid me any mind when I said it. So a few weeks passed. I'm back home with my mom. I tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, I see my dad on the news. And she's like, you see your dad on the news? And I was like, yeah, but I asked him about it. He said it wasn't him. She was like, well, what happened? And I told her about the stomping. Yeah, that was him, Mom. She said, it probably was. So don't nobody think this is crazy but me? Okay, cool. So fast forward again, some days, some weeks. I don't even know how much time passed, but just know time has passed since I sat on that couch and watched that news clip. And I was a nosy little kid. I told y'all that. I've always been the nosy little kid that I am, okay? And one thing about my family, they don't have no inside voices, okay? So am I really nosy or they just talk loud? So it was a conversation being had between my dad and someone else. I don't know if my dad was on the phone or if he was just talking to someone else outside. But I remember being in my grandmother's house and she had a really small 1-bedroom apartment. And she had like her main door, but then her screen door. So a lot of the times she would just have the screen door closed and the big door open, you know, letting the fresh air in. You know how grandparents are. And my dad had stepped outside and a conversation was being had. And I heard something along the lines of, yeah, and he think he gonna keep on playing with me about my money. I told him, I gave him this many days. Where's my money? Oh, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Excuses. Then I asked him on this day, where my money? More excuses. So you know what? I got you. Told him I had something for him. I don't play about my money. Did you just incriminate yourself? Did I just hear incrimination? Self-incrimination at that? You lucky I wasn't the DA. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting a phone call. Just go down there in about the next 15. How's that? Okay. Anyways, so I'm just like, this is juicy. Somebody owes you money, Dad. Somebody owes you money, Dad. What will you be willing to do for that money? Dad? I don't know. It was just so funny to me because I've always been a very bright child. Can't nothing get past me, not with these big old eyes. And now I have glasses. They better beware me. But like, yeah, I've always been a very intelligent child and a nosy one, as I've said. So I wasn't no oblivious fourth grader, fifth grader, sixth grader. This is the point I'm trying to make to y'all. So when I overheard that conversation, I'm like, oh, he beat that man up because he owed him money. The man didn't give him his check. The man was playing with his check and he beat him up because he didn't get his money. And I remember, like I said, my dad, he hasn't had multiple jobs because my dad usually works at a job for like years. Okay, he's probably had like, since I can remember, probably like two, maybe 3 jobs that I can remember. But anyways, I do remember conversations being had about his boss, the boss being a funny acting guy. I wish I could call my grandma and get her on the phone, but I'm not incriminating my grandma, okay? But I remember stories about this so-called boss, and I remember the stories not being so good. So now, me overhearing this story of this person who supposedly owes you money, and you've been asking for the money, but they didn't give you the money, so you said you got something for them. Then I'm sitting down on the couch and I see this news clip of a dude who's, what did they say? About 6'4" and this wide? With a very familiar green pullover hoodie on? Do you have a clone, Dad? Dad, do you have a clone? It's so funny. It's so funny. I don't even know to this day if my dad knows that I overheard the conversation about the person. Times like this, I really wish me and my dad communicated, because I would call him and be like, all right, the jig is up. I knew it was you. Spill the beans. Tell me all about it. But yeah, we just don't really communicate. But I just felt like that was a funny story. It's really no ending to it because, like I said, I don't know if my dad even knows to this day that I overheard that conversation of him saying how someone owes him money. And also, I never revisited the conversation of that was you on the news. Like, I never doubled down on it, because one thing about my dad, he could lie. He might not be a good one, but he will do it. I'm about to keep, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to keep on doing that with you. If you said it ain't you, then it is, but I'm gonna just let you think that I think it ain't you. That's how I handle that situation. But I do remember telling my mom, and I do remember talking to it about my grandma. And after hearing the conversation with my dad, I talked to my grandma about it again, and I was like, Nana, so-and-so owe Dad money. And she was like, yeah, I told your dad. I told him, I said, Marcus. But she did tell him that, you know, you are owed your money. You know what I'm saying? You were owed your money. And if anybody knows how my dad is, he was probably all riled up, and my grandma was probably like, don't go about it like that, but go up there and demand your money. And my dad, being my dad, he probably did not listen to his mom and chose to handle it the way he wanted to. And I can't say I'm mad at him. If you think my dad crazy, don't end up owing me no money, okay? Just saying. That's really the end of the story. I just thought that would be like a really funny one to tell, because I've always wanted to tell this story on my channel, but I'm like, would it be a long enough story? Will people believe me? Do I have to find a news clip first? Is my dad gonna see this and tell me to take it down, but I'm not gonna take it down? Like, I don't know. Like, I just thought that was a good story for y'all to, you know, hear about. So with that being said, you guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend. Make sure you comment what you think about the story time. Definitely comment if you have any funny story times with your parents telling you lies even though you knew the truth. And yeah, something smell like it's burning. I don't know what my sweet mates is cooking. I don't know if they burning sage, but it actually stinks and I'm concerned. So I need to close out this video. Like I said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. If you're new here, thank you for watching to the end. If you're an OG, no bars. But yeah, y'all, this is the end of the video, and Tasiaa is out.
Hey.